Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a fun full face of first impressions. I have a couple products that I do love and use on the regular that I didn't have anything new of, but I have a ton of new stuff to talk about today. If you're new to my channel, hi, hello, my name's Sam. I would love it if you subscribe and hit that little bell notification button so you're notified of all my future uploads. And if you could, give it a thumbs up so I know you're liking the content, and maybe leave a comment below of what you'd like to see from me next. If you'd like to see how to get this look, keep watching. So to get started today, we're going to start with the e.l.f. Jellypop Watermelon Dew Primer. I think I'm just going to put this right on my face. Get it warmed up. Kind of a liquidy, almost sticky consistency. It does have a pretty strong scent. Sometimes the stickiness in primers is good because it helps the foundation adhere to the skin. I have quite a few e.l.f. products in this full face. So if you can see, that gives like a very nice glow to the skin. So far I do think that's nice. The scent's not too strong, but does make me sticky. Next, we are going to use this e.l.f. BB cream. I have it in the shade Beige. I'm not sure if it's going to be the right shade because of quarantine and all. We are ordering online. And shade matches are not too hard. I forgot to wet my sponge. So we're going to use a Tarte Kabuki brush to blend this out. So this is supposed to be a BB cream, so it should give a lighter coverage to the skin. Kind of be better for like a day-to-day look. The brush will typically shear products out like this a little bit too, so we'll kind of see how much coverage we get. But I will say on first application, I love the glow that it's leaving on my skin. So it's definitely more of like a natural, maybe even dewy finish. I'm gonna apply a little bit of product right there on the brush itself and see if we can't get a little more coverage in those areas where I tend to go a little red. Well, that built up pretty nicely actually. I will say on first application it was really nice. I liked the dewiness to it. It felt really loose on the skin. It didn't feel heavy or anything. The glow is still beautiful. Oh, I love that. All right. So now I do have to use, I don't have a new concealer, so I am just going to use my e.l.f. Camo again to brighten under the eyes. I'm going to use that same brush to blend that out. Because that concealer is a little light for me in the summer. I'm gonna have to order a darker shade. Last summer it was funny. My daughter's so pale and she was so little, so last summer we didn't spend a whole bunch of time outside. She wasn't walking or anything, and it was kind of a crappy summer. So this year we're spending a lot more time outside and my skin has gotten super bronzed. So now none of my products that would normally work, none of them do. And that did seem to lighten it all a bit, but we'll use bronzer and everything to make that work. My next product is the e.l.f. Halo setting powder. I've never used any products like this, but I really do love a glow to the skin, and I like to set my makeup too, and usually setting powders are matte, so they take away any glow that your foundation or anything gives you. I'm using the shade medium. This might help darken this up a bit. Just putting a little into the cap. It does have a nice sifter to help separate the product out for you so it doesn't make too much of a mess. I'm gonna switch brushes to this nice big powder brush. I used to use this for bronzer actually, but I got a new brush I like better for bronzer. Actually kept me pretty highlighted, which I love that for summer. Okay, so I'm gonna switch to brows. We're gonna use the same brow pencil from last time, the Covergirl Ultra Fine. And what I kind of like to do with brow pencils is I kind of fluff those hairs upwards, taking the spoolie to kind of help melt the product in, brushing my hairs up and then down to give me like an exaggerated curve that I don't necessarily have with my natural brows if I kind of don't put them in place. But I outline the top and outline very lightly the bottom. Fill in any sparse areas. I do think with makeup it's important to go back, come forward to kind of look at what you got going on. Because product sometimes will look great on up close, not good far away, vice versa. I do tend to go for a little bit lighter of a brow. I have pretty good definition in my brows normally, so I don't need to apply too much product. I just like to outline them, give them that extra little shape, and then kind of fill in any areas that need it. Just remember, your brows are not supposed to look the exact same on either side. They're supposed to look similar, obviously, but that's why we call them sisters, not twins. So kind of follow your natural curves to your brows. Today I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow gel, just the clear one, just to make sure they're set down and they stay in place. So I also don't have any new bronzer or contour, so I'm going to use the Hoola Light bronzer to kind of chisel out my cheekbones, give me that nice and skinny look to my face, not the big round look that's naturally there. Kind of like to bring this down my nose a little bit. I'm not the best with nose contour, so I keep it rather light. But maybe a little bit kind of around my temple area. And a little bit kind of around this area. Make sure it is nice and blended because you don't want anyone to be questioning your contour. Next, we're going to go in with the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I just have, I think it's the original shade that they had. It's a 6676, if that helps anyone. I typically go for a bronzer that does have at least a little sheen to it. I like the way that looks on the skin. I feel like it keeps things very, very natural looking, and it's very flattering for me. But you can do whatever you want if you like a matte bronzer, or if you prefer one like I do. This bronzer is a drugstore bronzer. However, it is not the cheapest. I want to say it's like, I don't know, between $10 and like $15, which is kind of absurd. A little bit more. I will say I've only used this bronzer a handful of times and it's not my favorite. The way that I have to build it up to get the color payoff that I'm looking for. All right. So now I want to try a new blush I got by Kylie Cosmetics. It's called Crush. I'll do a little swatch. It's like a very, very natural pink toned blush. It's very pretty though. So we're kind of going to grab a stippling brush and just apply this to the apples. And I like to go back with my blush, kind of bring it on my nose. I smile when I apply it too. That's very, very pretty. It's like a nice petal pink. It's very pretty for summer. I like that a lot. So I also have a new highlighter. This one is called Cheers Darlings by Kylie. That is stunning. It's like a nice goldy, almost champagne. Very beautiful. Wow. Stunning. That is like my kind of a color. A nice like gold with a hint of champagne. Very, very pretty. The cheeks look nice. Now we're going to jump into the eyes. I have the New Classics by e.l.f. palette. It's a bunch of nice neutral tones. It's very neutral. It doesn't lean too cool, too warm. I think we're going to do a pretty simple look because, as we know, we're in quarantine and not going anywhere. And it is 5 o'clock at night at my house and my husband is getting ready to go to work. So we're going to jump into the first shade, which is Darling. It's a nice kind of medium toned brown to throw into the crease and upper crease, kind of going up towards your brow bone. We're going to use this as our transition tone. The shadows are blending very nicely. They have a mediocre pigmentation. We'll kind of see as we get into some other colors how that is. While we're on this tone, I'm going to throw it right under my lower lash line. Up until like probably a year ago, I didn't do too much down there, but I do think it kind of evens out the eyes as you get done with your makeup. It makes it look a little bit better. Now, I'm going to grab a new brush. We're going to jump into the shade Charmer. It's kind of like more on the mauve side, like a mauve brown. And throw that also into just your crease, not going up as high as the last shade, kind of keeping it right into your crease. This one I feel like didn't need as much building up as the last tone. It's very, very pretty. It's got that nice purple undertone, but still leaning more brown. The key to eyeshadow is blend, blend, blend. Blend until you can't blend anymore, because that's what's going to make your eye look complete. So now we're going to grab more of like a packing brush. So you can see this one is very fluffy. I use that more for blending. Where this brush is a lot more dense, it's going to be better for packing color on to either your lid or like I'm going to do out my outer corner. put the color and then probably go back in with that blending brush that has a little bit of that first shade we used. I think I'm going to stick to kind of the brown tones and use this earth shade. It's a very dark chocolatey brown. I'm going to stick it. So let's see if I have a mirror handy. So I'm going to stick the shade kind of right in my outer corner. And kind of just pack it in there more so than I'm worrying about blending it right now. I just want to put it where I want it, which is kind of going to mimic a V shape. So kind of like along your outer crease and come down into your lash line so it makes that nice V. Kind of where we want the color. We're now going to pick up that brush with no additional product and just blend our edges, keeping this pretty soft, but making sure to blend very nicely. My daughter really wants to come in here with me while I'm doing this. So now we're going to do the same exact thing on the other eye. We're going to place the color, come down, go back, come down, putting a little more pigment. That one kind of went haywire on me, so we're going to blend it all out because that's the beauty of makeup. You can usually fix your mistakes. Especially with these kind of a shadow. They're not super pigmented. Need to add a little more. I will say this shade is not blending as well. We'll kind of clean up the edge of that. And that's not too bad. Gonna focus on doing a little more work on the lower lash, grabbing that Charmer shade and a little bit of that other shade, and pop those on my lower lash. Grabbing that first blending brush we used and just blending it. So now I think what we're gonna do is add a shimmer. I think I'm going to just mix this Cosmo shade with rose gold and put that kind of on the inner 2/3 of my lid. We'll see. Actually, I'm going to use this platinum shade. Keep it a little more neutral and cool. Something a little different than what I normally would do. The shimmer is pretty beautifully pigmented and showing up very metallic without any spray or anything on our brush. So that's really nice. Very, very pretty. Overall, I think this palette was pretty good. The quality's there, the colors are there. It's got a nice variety of all kinds of neutral nudes to use for like an everyday palette for work, for school, for whatever you really need it for. You could amp it up for daytime, for midday, for night. You could make some really beautiful looks. I do think this palette's definitely a win. So I'm going to go back in with this Kylie highlighter and kind of highlight that Cupid cell. Yeah, look at how beautiful that is. Put a little bit more on the center and down the bridge of my nose. Take a little on that inner corner. And right under that brow bone. I like to do mine kind of right at that arch. Very pretty. I use the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. This is my cult favorite. I also used the ColourPop cream gel eyeliners. I used the white to do my waterline, which is an exit, and I used the black to do my tight line right under my top lashes. And this one is in the shade Swerve. So now we're going to move on to lips. I kind of felt like doing something a little bold, but we'll see. I got to swatch this on my hand and see if I like it. It's in the shade Party Girl by Kylie Cosmetics. It's very bright. Try the lip liner first. Kind of just filling in the outer edges because we're going to use the matching shade lip. Liquid lipstick on top. Okay, so now we're going to fill it in. So these are a little different. I'll watch them after. Like, I just made that a mistake right there. Let's see if I can. There. That's pretty with this look. Gives it a nice little pop of coral pink color. It's very neon in person. But it's pretty. It's very pretty. So I'm going to swatch the lip liner. It is also in Party Girl, but that was the liquid lipstick we used. So this is the lip liner. It's definitely muted down in person. It's not as bright and it's more pink. Like more of like a mid-tone pink, where the liquid lipstick is more of like a bright coral pink. It's still very pretty though. And it does pair nicely together. We're going to finish this off with a little gloss because we all know I like dew and to look glowy. This is Kylie Cosmetics in Yes Girl. Just a little bit. And this has a very nice gold glitter to it. But it's not It's not at all sticky on the lips. It's actually a very nice formula. And the glitters don't really show up either. They just give a nice little gloss to the lip. So there you have it, guys. Here's the finished product. What do you think? Nice dewy skin. I am seeing that the BB cream and the powder were really well together. They made the skin look very nice and glowy. All the face products look beautiful. The lip is a win for me. I'm not usually into bright lips, but I do really like this lipstick. The eye look came out real nice. Like I said, that darker color did not blend as well, but it is looking very pretty. I post videos 2 times a week, every Wednesday and Sunday. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Okay, love you guys. Bye.